Okay, next we're going to talk about the Dominican Beauty Block. This is a 12 by 12 inch block, and let's break it down into its components. These are the corner sections, which consist of 2 half square triangles and 2 solid blocks. Easy enough, huh? And then these are the quarter square triangle blocks that we're going to go over. Those are a little bit tricky, but I'm sure that we can do them just fine. With making the half square triangle blocks, take 2 pieces of fabric, sew it together on the diagonal like I have here. Mark a diagonal line from corner to corner, and then sew a 1/4 inch on each side of the diagonal line. When you cut them apart, you end up with half square triangles, and then you can take your trimming tool of choice to trim them down to size. And those are your corner blocks. And then you assemble them with 2 solid squares, the turquoise and the background fabric, and this is what makes the block. And here's what the finished block looks like right here. So you can see from the other side, it's 2 half square triangles and 2 solid blocks. I press my seams opposite so they will nest, and then when I sew the 2 rows together, I press the seams open to make it flat. I'm going to talk about the quarter square triangle blocks. And these really are not as complicated as you think they might be. This one consists of a piece of yellow and a piece of the background fabric. And I believe they're 5.5 inch squares. Put them right sides together and draw a diagonal line. And you want to do the same thing with the orange and the yellow fabric. Right sides together, draw a diagonal line. You want to sew a 1/4 inch on each side of the diagonal line for each of them, and then you'll cut down the center. This will give you 2 sets of half square triangles per square. So we have 2 sets there, and then we have 2 sets of the yellow and white up here. So mark them corner to corner, sew on a 1/4 inch on each side, and then run your rotary cutter down the center line, and that's going to give you your half square triangles. You want to press your half square triangles open as shown, and here we have a matching set that's going to make one of these, or it's going to make 2 of these blocks. So you want to press them open, and then you want to nest them together. You want to press your seams toward the yellow, and you want to nest them together so that the yellow is on opposite sides. And the seams will nest together because they're both pressed toward the yellow, and the yellow is on opposite sides. And then you want to mark a diagonal line after you've nested them together, like before. You want to mark a diagonal line from the opposite corner to corner going across the seam. So you want to take a mark that way, and then you want to sew on either side of the seam in a 1/4 inch. So you're taking your 2 half square triangles, you're nesting them together so that the yellow is on the opposite sides and the seams match. You draw a line that is perpendicular to the seam line. Remember that term, perpendicular? Paid attention in geometry class. And you draw the line, and then you cut them apart, and you're going to end up with your blocks. So we have 2 sets of 1/4 square triangles, and that's how you make 1/4 square triangles. And then we need to trim them down to the appropriate size. So you can use your trimming tool of choice. I've got the Deb Tucker ruler here, and I can show you real quick how we trim them. So this one, let's see, it helps if I use the right side of the ruler. This one is trimmed down to 4.5. I have already pre-trimmed it, but let's show you how to trim another one. This is the Deb Tucker trimmer ruler, which is very convenient to have. If you turn it this way, you can trim blocks to the 1/2 inch, and if you turn it this way, you can trim them to the 1 inch. And similar to the Tucker trimmer, or to the V-block ruler, these are all available right here at Bernina. So if you don't already have one of these, or one of the V-block rulers that we used earlier, they've got them here in the store and they'll be happy to hold one for you until you can come in to pick it up. But back to the trimming. We're going to lay this Tucker trimmer. We're going to trim this one to 4.5. We're going to lay it down and we're going to line up. We're going to look at this 4.5 line right here and the 4.5 here. And there's a cross that goes through the center, and you want to line up the cross on the diagonal just like this. And we're going to trim, and then we're going to turn the block and line up the 4.5. And we want to line up those cross hatches right on the center of the block. We love Deb Tucker. We don't love dull rotary cutter blades. Trim and trim. And here is our 4.5-inch block that is ready to go into our Dominican Beauty. So here's our block that goes into the Dominican Beauty, and the center block is a free pass, kind of like when you play bingo and they have that B in the center or whatever it is. So we've done the corner block and we've done the quarter square triangle block. So hopefully that will help you get your blocks done for this month. Okay, so these are the blocks for June, and this is Amy O'Donnell from Bernina World of Sewing in Raleigh, North Carolina, signing off. Hope everybody has a great week and a great month, and hopefully we will all be together again soon. Thanks.